Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Wow, this is different, no gavel. It's okay.
Old school.
Yeah. Here, got a perfect gavel. It's filled with coffee. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Rialto Unified School District regular meeting of the Board of Education for November 17th, 2021. Okay, it is 6:02. Trying to make up 2 minutes here. And open session, comments on closed session agenda items. Any person wishing to speak on any item on the closed session agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Dr. Avila?
We do not have any.
Okay, thank you. Okay, motion and a second to move into closed session, please.
So move. Second.
Thank you. As provided by law, the following are the items for discussion and consideration at the closed session of the board meeting. Public employee, employment discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment of employees per Government Code 54957. Student expulsions, reinstatements, expulsion, and enrollments. Conference with labor negotiators. Agency designated representatives, Cuauhtemoc Avila, Superintendent, Rhea MacGyver Gibbs, Lead Personnel Agent, Rhonda Kramer, Lead Personnel Agent, Employee Organizations, California School Employees Association, Chapter 203, Rialto Education Association, REA, and Communication Workers of America. Okay. Clerk Lewis, how do you vote on going into closed session?
Aye.
Thank you. And Vice President Montes?
Aye.
Okay, and myself, aye. Time is 6:04. See everyone?
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. And today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the Xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed this before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs altar, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs altar, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed this before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. we're celebrating as a community. And this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. And today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed this before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. And today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. And today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, And what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the Xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. And today is the day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs altar, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the Xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I've never performed this before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is the day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs out there, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera de al fin poder estar juntos y celebrar a nuestros queridos también que han pasado, que ya están en el cielo, y estar aquí todos juntos. Este es un evento dedicado y hecho exactamente por la comunidad y el distrito de Rialto, por todas las escuelas, nuestros estudiantes y, como digo, nuestra comunidad.
Today we're celebrating Dia de los Muertos in collaboration with our parent community. A big shout out to Alianza Latina for helping out. The parents came through, set up a beautiful event. This is our first time coming back together since COVID. Today is a day to remember our loved ones, to remember our struggles and our challenges, but also rise and come through them as a community.
So this is the multilingual programs altar, and what it means is that we made our alebrije, who's taking care of all the people and all the souls that we have. So the alebrije is takes care of all the people that are dead, all the souls, and these are the Xoloscuincles which will guide them through the Mictlan, which is the land of the dead. And we didn't put pictures because we remember our dead with their names and all the food and the smells and the tastes of the food.
We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy as a parent and as a school board member to see that the community is ready for these types of celebrations, honoring our loved ones who have passed, celebrating culture, celebrating life. I want to thank especially my son Quetzal, who helped me drum today.
Drumming, that's what I'm best at, so I mostly focus on that. But I am going to learn how to dance. I never performed before like this in front of all these people, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'll make it.
This is such a wonderful outdoor event. I mean, you can see the children, the family. We're celebrating as a community, and this is what history is about. Learning your culture and learning how to celebrate and remembering your past and your loved ones.
Esta es una manera.
Oh, Dr. Avila is not back. Oh, I need to tie a string to it, though. I remember. Okay, we're going to begin now that we're ready enough. Okay, board. John, we're ready. It is 7:05 and we are back from closed session. Board, can I have a motion and a second to adjourn closed session, please?
So move. Second.
Thank you. Okay. How do you vote, Ms. O'Kelly?
Aye.
Okay, Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez to adjourn? Thank you. And the time is 7:05. Thank you. Open session reconvened at 7:05. Tonight we have Brianna Magana from Rialto High School and our DSAC leader. Lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Brianna.
Good evening, everybody. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay. I have a readout before we go through the adoption of the agenda. Business and financial consent item D311, page 73. Item D311, page 73. Agreement with Creative Change Collaborative will be pulled from the agenda. Also, correction to discussion action item G4, page 153. Item G4, page 153. Agreement with Franklin Covey, Leader in Me. The fiscal impact will be revised as follows. Not to exceed $44,388.48. And that is paid from the general fund. Okay, board, okay, motion and a second to adopt the agenda, please.
So moved.
Okay, and, second, that is adopt as amended. Appreciate that. Okay, Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Ms. Walker will not be with us tonight. She's okay, but she's out on business. Okay, comments, public comments on agenda items. Wait a minute. There we go. I missed report out of closed session, so I'm going back to that.
Yes, we have
Dr. Avila?
several. Yes, thank you, President Martinez. We have several. The Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Gilberto Enriquez Pulido, Principal, Boyd Elementary School. The roll call vote of those present was unanimous. The Board of Education approved an unpaid 5-day suspension of certificated employee number 2981711. The roll call vote of those present was unanimous. And the Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Dr. Janice Bush, Assistant Principal, Rialto Middle School. The roll call vote of those present was unanimous.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Avila. I continue with item B, comments. Public comments on agenda items. Any person wishing to speak on any item on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Dr. Avila?
Yes, we have several. First, we have Ana Gonzalez.
Welcome.
That was quick. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ana Gonzalez. I am first and foremost a parent at Rialto Unified. My daughter's at Casera Middle School. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Today I'm representing.
Start the timer, please.
Sorry about that.
No
Sorry,
worries.
please continue.
All right, today I am representing the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice. I am the executive director at these organizations, and I'm a convener of the Brown and Black Redistricting Alliance, and we are reviewing the districting process for Rialto Unified. And as we're looking at the 2 scenario maps, we are leaning towards scenario map 1, which looks almost like the map we are drawing and putting together with community members. We had a meeting with some parents from the different regions of Rialto Unified, and we are putting a map together. So I guess my question is, where can we submit the map proposals that the community has put together? Are you guys gonna review those, or are you just gonna go along with scenarios 1 and 2? So those are my questions. That way we could tell community members where to submit those proposals and submit their comments in regards to the scenarios. So thank you so much for your time.
Okay, and when you submit,
I submit them to
yes,
my
Superintendent's
office.
office.
Yeah.
And include all the members, whoever submitted comments. Please include those so we can contact them if necessary.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Avila?
I think it's Sheena or Shina Davis.
Wish I knew a magic trick or something during this dead air time. Welcome.
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, my name is China Davis, and I'm here on behalf of Blue Educational Foundation. And I just wanted to address the Assembly District, the Rialto split. I know that we're in the midst of redistricting efforts, and my question to you all is, where are you guys at as far as the commission's draft maps? Because right now they have the Assembly District, they have Rialto split from San Bernardino. And so I'm here on the behalf of the Black Redistricting Hub as well, and we really want to push to keep Rialto and San Bernardino in the same assembly district, just because we really want to protect our COIs, which is our community of interest. namely our African American communities and our Latinx communities. It's really important that we don't split these communities up so that we can increase the representation, so that we can increase political representation, addressing our needs. And so Rialto and San Bernardino have very similar needs. And so some of those are quality jobs, access to food, and it's just really, really important that you guys advocate to keep Rialto in the same district as San Bernardino. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. But I don't believe that we are addressing that at all.
Okay.
I believe we're addressing only the Rialto map.
Only the Rialto map.
Yes.
That is so good to know. Thank you.
But thank you for the input.
We have Ana Gonzalez again, but I think it's a duplicate.
I think she was just asking for support on that.
Okay. Welcome again.
Wow, this is fast. Sorry about that. All right. I guess the next agenda item that I wanted to speak on was on a proposal to team up with a consultant to figure out how to run IEP meetings at the school sites. If I could find the page, that'd be helpful. Sorry about that.
It's
Oh, here
okay.
it is. Okay. Agreement with David Darling. And I really like this proposal, and I just want to make sure that the board has conversations in regards to accountability, that once, you know, these trainings are provided to staff and parents or whoever's going to be involved, all the stakeholders, that there's a plan in place where we hold those staff members accountable, because, you know, we've seen, in my personal experience with my daughter at Casera Middle School, we had some mishaps with staff not being ready in IEP meetings, but I've also heard it from other parents. And so I want to make sure that there's an accountability process after these trainings are provided to make sure staff is on their A game at every IEP meeting.
Okay, please define accountability, because accountability can mean so many things. I want to make sure
Sure.
we're on the same page.
So like, for example, many times we are told as parents that, you know, certain staff members didn't go through certain training to provide the services or be ready with the documentation that needs to be provided at every IEP meeting. And so, you know, they start pointing fingers at different staff members. And so we want to make sure that if everybody's going to go through this process and you know, make sure that everybody's on their A game at every IEP meeting, that when there's missing documentation or you can't complete an IEP meeting because you didn't have all the information that you needed to provide, then, you know, we know who to go to make sure that, you know, they provide it the next time. Stuff like
Appreciate
that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well noted. Mirna Ruiz.
Welcome.
Are we doing, good evening, Myrna Reese. Is this on the agenda or not on the agenda?
Not on the agenda.
Oh.
I know Anna ended up doing both, but she noted it as not on the agenda. So we're still on not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda, okay.
On the agenda?
On the agenda.
Okay.
On
The
the
opposite,
agenda.
yes.
Okay, back to the on. So good evening, Myrna Reese. I'm here today on the agenda regarding on page 74, the agreement with David Darling, JD MDR, which is something that I'm actually glad that is happening, you know, as far as training. This is something that I always come and speak regarding special ed. However, I want to make sure that this is something that we follow up on, you know, because we seem to keep doing that a lot. We provide services or resources, and then that's it. We leave it alone. There's no follow-up, and everything has been done and wasted. So if we are going to be doing the training and provide training that parents have been requesting for special ed, I'm really happy. Okay, so I applaud you guys for doing this. But again, what's happening right now, we need to make sure that people are still accountable. Being ready at the IEPs, you know, the disrespect for parents is still continuing. You know, the no translation for parents, you know, when they're having their IEPs not, or assessments not being translated and being there at the IEP, and they're like, well, we don't have it. that's not appropriate. So if this is something that's gonna help, then I'm all for it. But I really would like a little bit more clarification because I'm a little confused on exactly what this is all about. But again, I just want to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do. And like I said, I would like clarification on this item.
Give me the item again so we can ask more.
It's D, I'm looking at page 74 on the agenda,
Okay,
but I believe it's D1.
thank you.
What is it? It's D312.
And Mr. Martinez, I will have staff reach out tomorrow to give her a
Okay,
detailed.
that'd be
summary.
much easier.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Avila.
So that's all for items on the agenda.
Okay, let's see. We move on to public hearing. Items off the agenda got moved later in the session to allow for our student board member who isn't here tonight to participate in voting as well as input. So, okay, public information. First quarter Williams report, C11. First quarter Williams report, fiscal year 2021 and 2022. That is available as on page 22 of this agenda. And public information C as in Charlie, 2.1, educator effectiveness plan. Review the draft of the educator effectiveness plan as presented as an information item and which will be submitted for approval on December 15th, 2021. Okay, do we have somebody to address this, or do we need to vote on it or anything, or is this just a public item to bring to their attention?
Just public information.
Okay, it is on page 23 of this agenda item, or of this agenda. Okay, we are going to open public hearing. A motion and second, please.
Move to open public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. And this is, okay, Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Well, which one are we voting on?
Just to open public hearing.
Oh, aye.
Nice and easy this time. Okay, Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montes?
Aye.
And I for myself as well. And this is on item C 3.1, page 24, I'm sorry. Form for public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement, AB 1200. Pursuant to the requirements of government code and board policy, the form for public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement, AB 1200, statutes of 1991, chapter 1213, as revised by AB 2756, statutes of 2004, chapter 25, government code 3547.1, between the Rialto Unified School District Board of Education and the Communication Workers of America, is hereby posted or sunshined in compliance with the legislative requirements for public notice. In-depth information is available to the public through this document, and it is item C 3.1 and on page 24. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak on this, Dr. Avila?
We have none.
Thank you.
Move to close public hearing.
Thank you.
Second.
All right. Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote? To close?
Aye.
Thank you. Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montes?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Closing at 7:21. We have another public hearing.
Move to open public hearing.
President Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Before we do that, I would ask for consideration that we adjust the order of the agenda to allow our DSAC students to make their presentations so that they can then return to home and complete whatever assignments are pending.
Okay, would you like that inserted now or after this public hearing?
Now.
Okay. All right. Unless there's any problem or, okay, yes, let's do that. And then we will come back to C5.
I didn't see presentation.
Vice President Montes?
Yeah. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead we're gonna skip to F1. Item F1, and that's presentations, High School District Student Advisory Committee, DSAC. Thank you, Board President Mr. Martinez, for letting me read out the names for tonight. So first, everybody good?
Yes.
First, we'll start with Eisenhower High School, Carly Gutierrez.
Welcome. Great to see you again this year.
Nice to see you too, sir. Good evening, distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Avila, parents, community members, and peers. My name is Carly Gutierrez, and I have the honor of being this year's ASB president at Eisenhower High School, where she runs the world. But that's a story for another time. I hope you're all doing well and getting back into the swing of things after being home for a year. I would like to share some of the exciting things that have happened and will be happening at our Eagle's Nest. We started our school year off with our wonderful Club Rush, where we allowed students to take peeks into clubs and express their interests. On October 30th, we had our first ever outdoors homecoming in our quad. We sure did have fun with our Haunted Hoko theme. Speaking of outside events, we also had our first pep rally of the year at our Ronnie Lott Stadium. We were able to acknowledge our fall sports, our award-winning choir, and our dance team. Our fabulous Link crew had their freshman football tailgate, allowing freshmen to play games with each other and their Link crew leaders. They were then able to attend our first home football game of the year. As Link crew continues to work hard, they were also able to host their annual trunk or treat for our freshmen, where freshmen were able to go around our campus and collect candy from their Link crew leaders and staff. We recently had our college and career week as well. We ended our week off with our awesome seniors, starting the day off at our senior sunrise, where we all came together at the crack of dawn to enjoy the sunrise and play some games, which meant some of us had to be there a little extra earlier. Then we applied to Cal States and finished up our FAFSA. After a hard day at work, our seniors were able to end the day with treats from our Think Together program and having a dunk tank with our one and only Mr. Camacho sitting in the hot seat. With this year being very tough on our seniors, we were also able to start an amazing program called Elite Eagles. This program allowed our seniors to get guidance throughout their senior year and prepare them for college. Not only do our Eagles soar in academics, they do very well in athletics, as our very own football team, co-ed cross-country team, my girls tennis team, and girls volleyball all made it to CIF. Our marching band had a successful field season as they ended the season in 6th place. Last but definitely not least, our spectacular speech and debate had a couple top 10 finishes as well as a first place winner. Coming up, we have our Winter Festival, which will be filled with joy and laughter, as well as our Cocoa and Cram, where our students will be able to prepare for their finals. Next week, on November 23rd, our boys basketball team will be playing against Carter High, and our cheerleaders will be performing at the Toyota Arena at 2:30. I hope to see you all there. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we go to Rialto High School, and that'll be Maya Williams.
Welcome.
I'll move this back a little.
Take your time, don't be nervous.
Okay, it's okay. I'm sorry.
No
Okay.
need to be sorry.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Avila, and viewing. Can you guys hear me okay? Actually,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. And viewing audience. I am Maya Williams, the ASB president for the Knights of Rialto High. We are so happy to be back in the castle and are enjoying all of our night pride and spirit. We welcome lots of new staff, including Assistant Principal Mr. Gray from JU, Activities Director Mrs. Erickson from Kolb, and Nutrition Services Lead Mrs. Pensino, and over 1,500 new Knights on campus for the first time. Our goal to start all of our nights off on the right foot began with a free Rialto High Spirit shirt for everyone this year. You should drop by on Fridays to see the night spirit in all grade levels. And our Link crew is making connections with our freshmen and sophomores by holding monthly class workshops, hosting morning tutoring sessions, and lunch activities. They are building our students up from the beginning and strengthening their relationships, which is helping to make their transition more successful. Not only have we held activities for our underclassmen, there have been numerous activities for our seniors already this year. We had a Senior Spirit Week that ended with our Senior Sunrise. There was an amazing turnout and seniors even got to create their own DIY spirit wear. We have taken our senior portraits and held a senior grad fair to pick up our cap and gowns in preparation for our graduation ceremony in June. And on Friday, we will take our Class of 22 panoramic picture. We have lots to celebrate at Rialto, such as our varsity football team made it to the semifinals of the CIF playoffs this Friday, breaking all school records. We love to see you there as we make history. And our girls cross country team made it to CIF with 2 runners from our boys cross country team for individual races as well. Our NJROTC has also kept the night pride strong. They presented the colors during the national anthem for the LA Clippers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. They also held a cleanup at Del Mar Beach on Camp Pendleton and participated in the Redlands Veterans Parade. And our color guard cadets, Vanessa Caloria, Joseph Alamia, Brandon Soto, and their leader, Faleta Logatola, won 2nd place when competing against 12 other teams. Our amazing Broadway nights held their fall play, The Pandemic That Didn't Define Us, on October 15th and 16th. They were able to provide a cathartic experience as the play discusses how we dealt with the pandemic, ranging from the worst to the best of it. And last weekend, they presented their global musical review, all together now with our choir. Our esports program has been actively competing since September in 2 different leagues, High School Esports League and Play VS. This is the final week in both leagues before playoffs. In Play VS, we have 2 teams competing in the CIF Rocket League tournament. In the High School Esports League, students are competing in 6 different game titles. In the Trident Cup tournament, one of our members is currently ranked 2nd out of almost 600 participants. Students are still primarily competing from home, which has been challenging. However, we are simply looking at this season as an opportunity to practice with new people and familiarize ourselves with the new tournament platforms. We have a number of new clubs for our nights, including the Fashion Business Club, Crochet Club, and Guitar Club. There are numerous returning clubs on campus as well that serve our students' interests. We have had a fabulous homecoming week game and dance. We saw lots of participation during our Spirit Days and kept that spirit alive for the game and dance. Coming up, Rialto High ASB is sponsoring a toy donation drive to bring a smile to children in our community. We will be collecting new unwrapped toys, then donating them to a local shelter and Toys for Tots. The drive is from November 29th to December 10th. Rialto had their WASP visit last week. We held our meeting virtually and they were able to talk to many students representing our AVID, ASB, Renaissance, and Link Crew programs. We received highly effective and effective ratings in all areas. We also passed FPMs with flying colors with no findings. Great job, Knights. Our College and Career Day was held with a push to reach 100% FAFSA completion. We have been using Naviance lessons to help our seniors build essential skills for life after college, such as building a resume. It was a very busy first quarter back in the castle as we adjust to back on campus life, and we plan to continue the momentum of building up our students and staff while striving for academic excellence. We hope to see many of you at Saturday's Rialto Holiday Parade. Keep the lights on, Knights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to Myler High School. Ijayla Smith.
Welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Education, Superintendent, Dr. Avila, and viewing audience. My name is Ijayla Smith, and I am the proud student to represent Myler High School. I am excited to share with you some of the great things taking place on our campus. Students and staff began the year with positive energy and attitudes. We held 2 job fairs that we like to thank Norms for, Carl's Jr., and Stater Brothers and Little Caesars for coming out as well. Congratulate to all Mustangs that earned jobs this semester. Mustangs were able to attend 3 field trips to the Valley College campus as well, as we meet with the admission counselor multiple times this semester. We are excited to continue our education after graduation, and we thank Valley, Ms. Natoli, Mr. LaShore for showing us the next steps of making it happen. October was a full month of Spirit Week, our Red Ribbon event with the Rialto Police Department, and a special lunchtime activity with San Bernardino County Schools 2 program. Our first annual Trunk or Treat event was an evening of fun and service. It was a great time to see the Rialto community members come out as well. Shout out to the personal department, Jehu Middle School, and Rialto High for candy donations and volunteers. Myler would like to recognize the following students for PBIS Students of the Month. We have Dakota McCoy, Andrea Darte, and Jeremiah Coe. Great job for representing PBIS goals for being responsible, focused, respectful, and safe. Our students, staff, and families truly make Myler #1. Myler staffs will be putting together a Thanksgiving basket for Myler and Zupanich students. And this week, ASB is hosting a Thankful Thursday lunchtime activity tomorrow that will be allowing us to reflect on all that we are thankful and grateful for. Thank you for your time, and all of Myler High would like to wish you a very nice Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to Carter High School, Maya Norman.
Welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Education and Superintendent Dr. Avila and the viewing audience. My name is Maya Norman, ASB President at Carter High School. I'd like to share some exciting things that Carter has been up to, as well as some future events. Our first big event of the school year was our homecoming game and dance that happened on October 21st and 22nd. After not having any events for over half a year, our student body was really excited to finally have an event to look forward to again. The events turned out to be amazing, and Carter High School student body had a blast enjoying themselves and dancing the night away. Our girls tennis team rocked it their season. Two of our seniors, Daniela Vega and Kelly Ramirez, won the Sun Kiss League Tournament champions in doubles. Daniela and Kelly have a season record of 15-5 and went into the tournament as the 4th seed and came through as champions. We are so proud of them. Carter's speech and debate team competed on Saturday, November 13th, and did an amazing job. Nadia Valenderez placed 3rd, and Victoria Garnica placed 2nd in the Navance Lincoln Douglas debate. Aiden Lowe and Alejandro Andrade placed 1st in duo interpretation, and Ryla Gideon placed 1st in oracle interpretation. An event that we are looking forward to is the varsity boys basketball game against Ike next Tuesday, November 23rd, at the Toyota Center. This game is a partnership with Agua Caliente Clippers. But more than anything, we are so excited to be back on campus, and it has been a complete pleasure to see all our students and staff together again. Thank you so much, Board of Education, Dr. Avila, and our viewing audience. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Board President.
Thank you, Vice President Montez. I can't help but I'm overwhelmed to see our students again. Just, they're so well-spoken and just, they grow up so quick. Okay, back to C5, open public hearing, motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. O'Kelly, to open public hearing, please. How do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye at 7:36. This is the first public hearing regarding proposed composition of by-trustee area maps pursuant to Election Code Section 10010, Subdivision A2. I'll repeat. Election Code Section 10010, Subdivision A as in alpha, 2. Okay, do we have any input on the map specifically? Ms. O'Kelly, go ahead.
Aren't we supposed to have a presentation on the maps before we do the public hearing part, or?
Typically, public hearing, public input is given before anything like that, but if you wish to, we could probably do that.
It wouldn't be a bad idea since if anybody would like to comment or ask a question, maybe the presenters can answer those when they do the presentation afterwards.
That would be fine. Is the demographer here?
I believe so.
They're in the hallway.
Okay, we are going to, it's going to be one of those nights, folks. We're jumping all over into presentations, going to hear from the demographer on the trustee area maps.
Good evening. How are you all tonight? Nice to be with you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Yes. I'm Justin Rich with Cooperative Strategies. Again, it's nice to be with you all. We're at a new stage of the process that you're going through here where I get to present to you the draft map scenarios that we've prepared. So we look forward to any input and feedback that you all or the community have on this, just so we can figure out how to better reflect your community and make any appropriate changes to the maps. Before we do that, I just want to provide an update on where we're currently at in this process. So we're through the pre-map stage, which is really the process where you gather community input and feedback before maps are drawn. And we're now in the drawing maps for consideration stage. This is the first of 3 public hearings that are going to happen over the next 3 months with the ultimate goal of adopting a map in January and then taking that to the County Committee on School District Organization in the January-February timeline. Ultimately, these will go into effect for the November 2022 election cycle, which will be the first election utilizing trustee areas. Briefly, I just want to review the framework for drawing maps. There are a couple of things that we really have to do in order to comply with the law. And then there's other things that, to the extent possible, we should do and we should consider. These are considerations that help to provide for better representation and to keep communities together. So first of all, just in terms of the things that we must do, we have to comply with the one person, one vote federal constitutional doctrine and keep areas roughly as equal as possible. There is a small amount of variance that's allowable. I will let you know that all 3 of the maps that we will share with you tonight are legal. When considering that, we're shooting for a variance under 10%, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And all 3 of these maps comply with that. Second, we have to comply with the Federal Voting Rights Act, and specifically Section 2, where we do not impair the ability of a protected class to elect the candidate of their choice. In this context, a protected class are those racial and language minority groups as defined by the Federal Voting Rights Act. And so those are the 2 things that we are going to pay particular focus to tonight. But then there's the other considerations, keeping areas as compact and contiguous as much as possible. I will note that with the area that your district covers and the shape of the boundary, that's really a relative term, and there's varying population densities and other such things. But to the extent that we can keep that in mind, we should. We should also respect communities of interest as much as possible. These are defined by the state of California as groups that have shared social and economic characteristics. That can mean a lot of things. Sometimes it's in the eye of the beholder, but generally these are groups that really think with, have a shared voice, and we want to take that into consideration. considering that we do not live in your community, you all are better gauges of that and can provide us with valuable feedback. Oftentimes the boundaries for those communities of interest can be man-made or natural geographic features, so we can take those into account, major highways, train tracks, and other such things. Also, to the extent we can respect incumbency, although that can't be a primary consideration, it can be a consideration in this process. And then other local considerations, we've listed a couple examples here. Oftentimes K-12 districts will think about where their schools are located or where the attendance boundaries for those schools extend. And frankly, you can look at that in a couple of different ways. So those are also things to keep in mind. We've provided a map here on the left-hand side just to kind of orient all of, orient all of us towards the where the district sits and the surrounding communities in addition to the community that you serve. We've also included the most up-to-date census data here. I believe you've seen this slide before, and it shows the ethnic composition of the district based on all of these categories. I will point out the fact that the largest protected class in the district is the Hispanic Latino population at roughly 75%. Another data set that we use in order to determine our compliance with the Federal Voting Rights Act, and which your attorney will be particularly interested in, is the citizen voting age population. This is a measure of voting strength for various groups, and really it's an estimate of the eligible voters within the district, broken down by ethnic composition here. We've included a color graduated map. This is for the Hispanic Latino voters, and what you'll see is those areas, those are all census blocks that comprise the district, and the areas that are darker in color represent higher concentrations, and those areas that are lighter in color represent lower concentrations. So this is for the Hispanic Latino voters. On the next slide, we have the Asian voting age population with a similar map. Again, the darker color represents higher concentrations, and the lighter color represents lower concentrations. Finally, on the last slide, we have the color graduated map based on citizen voting age population for the Black or African American voters. Again, you will see varying shades of colors here, and those represent higher and lower concentrations. So in terms of the maps, I'm going to be pointing out a few different things. We have a couple of slides just to walk you through the characteristics of each of these. First of all, just to orient ourselves towards the colors, these all represent the various trustee areas. You'll see in yellow trustee area 1, and in this scenario, it generally takes the area north of the 210 and a small portion south of the 210 on the eastern side of the district. Trustee area 2 is shown here in green, and really that takes the central kind of western portion of the district. And in the red/pink area, we have trustee area 3, bounded generally by Home Street and Baseline in the north, and then south to the train tracks. In blue, we have trustee area 4. It's really in the southwestern portion of the district and extends across to the east, north of Merrill. And then the pink area here, trustee area 5, is the area in the southern portion of the district south of Merrill. So we've drawn these scenarios. There's a lot of similarity. I will note that in scenario 1, the trustee areas I think are oriented a little bit more east to west or west to east, and that's also similar to the third scenario that we'll be sharing with you. We've also made sure that we're taking into consideration first and foremost balancing populations to keep that variance in legally allowable amounts. Looking at various geographic features, oftentimes we're looking at major roads, freeways, and such. We will note just generally as we went through this process, because of the denser population in the southern portion of the district, you will see that they cover smaller areas just in terms of the geographic size. But that was necessary in order to balance those populations. Lastly, the variance, the difference between the largest and the smallest area, which we're paying close attention to, is 4.3%. And again, that is well within that 10% threshold that we use as our guide. And all of the three scenarios are right around 4.5%, just for reference. We have a lot of data in these tables, so I just want to walk through a few things here. Again, the variance is shown up in the upper right-hand corner at 4.3%. And then the largest trustee area in this particular scenario is trustee area 3. And then the smallest area was a close tie here between trustee area 4 and trustee area 2. There was one person difference there. The smallest was actually trustee area 4. I do want to note that for each one of the trustee areas, we've included the two different data points that we use. You'll see a TP there in that row for each of the trustee areas, and also CVAP. TP refers to the total population, and so that's based on the census. And then the CVAP is what I talked about earlier, the citizen voting age population. So this is our estimate of eligible voters provided by the American Community Survey. Of note here, in each one of the trustee areas, there are majority protected class districts where there is a majority Hispanic Latino voters in every single one of the trustee areas. That is also the case for all three scenarios that we're sharing with you. And that is positive just in terms of the Federal Voting Rights Act and ensuring that we're not cracking or packing. This is a positive development. So in scenario 2, we've taken a little bit different method to putting these trustee areas together. As I pointed out before, scenarios 1 and 3 have a little bit more of a west to east kind of delineation. This runs a little bit more north to south. In trustee area 1, again, this is in the northern portion of the district, but then it cuts just below the 210, really through the Las Colinas neighborhood, and then east of Locust runs along the 210 there. So a little bit different approach to that particular trustee area. And then trustee area 2 takes the western portion really of Cactus and Lilac and trying to look at my notes here. Oh, to the eastern boundary of the district there. Or excuse me, western boundary. And then trustee area 3 generally is between Walnut and Merrill and Cactus and Acacia. And trustee area 4 runs from Acacia to the east between the 210 to Rialto and Merrill. And then trustee area 5, it runs from Lilac to the east, going along Rialto and Merrill in the south, and then southwards. Again, I would point out the fact that this is a little bit different orientation, moving more north to south, and it had a slightly higher variance by 0.1% as compared to scenario 1. And then in terms of the demographic composition for here, again, we've highlighted the variance up in the upper right-hand corner. The largest trustee area is trustee area 5, and the smallest is trustee area 4. Again, there are five protected class majorities for the Hispanic Latino voters based on citizen voting age population. But I will note that trustee area 1 has a slightly higher majority. In the prior scenario, it was about 51.5%. And in this scenario, because of the way that the boundaries are cut, it's slightly higher, more solidly majority at 54.5%. And for scenario 3, again, I think this looks very similar to scenario 1. The differences are that trustee area 1 follows the 210 more closely. Trustee area 2 really goes from the west to the east between the 210 and Miller and Baseline. And then trustee area 3 runs from Baseline to Merrill, generally along Miller, and then down along Merrill along Eucalyptus. Or down to Merrill along Eucalyptus. Trustee area 5 is the area that's south of Merrill, and this is just like it is in scenario 1. There is a slightly higher variance for this scenario at 4.7%. Again, I think we took into consideration those same freeways, major roads, and the like when we could to draw those boundaries. And in terms of the demographics breakdown, again, we've listed the variance up in the upper right-hand corner at 4.7%. The largest area in this scenario is trustee area 4, and the smallest is trustee area 1. Once again, there are 5 majority protected class districts, very similar to the breakdown that we saw in scenario 1. Then I'll pause there for questions, if there's any specific questions or suggestions on how we might approach a new iterations of the maps. Happy to answer.
Okay, board, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Into the microphone, please.
I thank you for changing the colors and making it a lot clearer. Thank you so much. But with the streets, like you have like the main streets, like Riverside Avenue, but you don't have like Arcadia, you know, some of those boundaries. It's sort of like, are we splitting the school in half? You know,
Sure.
where the
Yeah.
map is drawn. So I think with the street, I think north and south and east and west, some of those artery streets, because you have a big gap in there.
Sure.
So for the public input, they can sort of visually see where. And then you name 1 protected class. What are the other 4?
So there are five majority protected class districts. So every single one of the trustee areas in all of these scenarios has a majority Hispanic, Latino, based on citizen voting age population. So in all 5 trustee areas, in every single one of the scenarios, there is more than 50%.
Okay, so is it just 1 protected class?
She's asking what other protected classes by race.
Yeah, certainly. And so any racial or language minority group is considered a protected class under the Federal Voting Rights Act. And all of that information is provided in the breakdown for each one of the scenarios.
Okay, so I just think it would be helpful is to just sort of a list, because some of the areas you had higher percentage of other protected class and it wasn't really stated that way.
Oh, certainly,
Yeah.
yes.
You have different people looking at maps and trying to figure out.
Absolutely.
Anyone else on the board? Ms. O'Kelly? Do you have questions, comments?
No, but now tonight we saw 3. Okay, are you going to be developing any more?
Tonight, after I leave here, if there's any input or feedback for us, I did hear the young lady earlier saying that she would like to submit a map. We were happy to do that, to recreate that map and run that analysis. So that'll be our task from here. This is typically an iterative process where we come up with maps. You can identify things you like or do not like about those maps and ask us to go back to the drawing board and come hopefully with something that's more, again, more representative of your communities, more logical dividing lines. We simply have to go back and crunch the numbers and see if we're able to accomplish that by balancing populations. But that's why I'm here, is to make sure that we're being responsive to what you would like to see.
Vice President Montes? Okay.
I will note just a couple of things. I think there's a couple of solutions for that issue regarding streets. I think that we can include, because of the north to south orientation of the district, and it covers a large area, we can zoom in on the more populated area, and that will help. But we can also put on the website an interactive map, which would allow people to be able to zoom in and be able to see how each one of those scenarios breaks down based on the streets that it runs along.
Because people do identify by the school sites, you know, and they're like, well, that's a big park. How many people are over there, you know? So that's helpful.
And I have a page worth.
Okay, great.
Okay, let me start with the ones that got emailed to me. Will each board member have an equal number of schools in their area? I think I know the answer, but the public would like to know.
Sure. Certainly, if that's a guiding light for us, and you want us to take that into consideration, we can plot the schools on there and then figure out how many schools would be on there. I will tell you that becomes tricky, and so there can be trade-offs if it's the areas do not look as compact and maybe don't divide along certain boundaries, because instead we want to represent roughly equal numbers of schools. That's certainly a possibility.
Okay, and then the other is, and I really don't think it's a question for you, but I told him I'd ask. If
Certainly.
nobody runs from a given area, can someone from another area run at large? Or asked another way?
No, if nobody from a certain district runs, then we can appoint somebody.
Yes, that is the answer, but specifically.
Can't run at large, though.
Do we have to live in the area that we are representing?
Yes, and I'm stepping a little bit into the attorney role here, but I can say confidently that yes, you need to live in the area that you're elected from.
Okay, now I'll start my own list.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and this is a big one for me personally. Each trustee, even though we were voted in by area, we would still represent the entire district. That's a question.
Fundamentally, this does not change the way that you would govern. This does not change that. This is simply for how you're elected. And I've heard many other attorneys, and I think Trevin would say the same thing. Your focus should still be district-wide. So yes, you are still representing the entire district.
Okay, as I see any of the maps, the southernmost map, purple, violet, whatever color it is, has no representation as we sit right now as a board. So I do have recommendations for that. Let's see here.
If I may, Board President Martinez, the reason why there's nobody on the board from the south end of the district is because nobody currently got elected from the south end of the district.
Correct.
And that doesn't mean there hasn't been candidates from the south end of the district. It just so happens that current board members elected happen not to live in that area. And that's one of the reasons why moving over to a district election makes it more sure that we'll have a spread out representation district-wide.
Agreed. Okay. In looking at the map, I know I had trouble identifying where schools were, or even where I lived. I'd like to see at least one overlay with all the schools on it.
We can do that.
Yeah, and of course, not on a piece of 8x10 paper, wouldn't be able to see what I'd need to see, but have that available online, please. That way we can enlarge it as we
Certainly.
need. Then if we could, each board member lives in different areas, but we have our own neighborhood school. Mine happens to be Dunn. To keep this board intact, if the voter wishes to, one resolution is to have fingers reach out. There's two that live north, two in the middle, I'm the furthest south. Addressing mine, if a finger could come up from Area 5 to Dunn School, that would give equal seating to the current board. And the reason I'm concerned about that, I hear from the public that we are functioning well. I don't want, well, the worst thing for the school district would be to have 2 or 3 board members change. Then we start all over again. Let's see. Okay, that is the gist of everything. The last note I made, and this is something that I need to understand. If I understood correctly, by the census count, we are balancing each area, not by voter 18 and above. So one area may have 15% higher voters. Okay, that's a problem with the system, but that is currently what we have.
Trevin, I'll start, and then you may want to add in, but we are required under the federal constitution to balance based on total population, not any subset, not based on potential voters, not based on
Political party.
not based on student enrollment or any of those things that might, seem to be logical ways of doing it. It has to be based on total population.
Boy, did you nail it. Laws from Sacramento and Washington are almost never logical. Okay. Board members, did that trigger anything else?
Yes. So I know in Rialto, there's a lot of new housing development and new growth. But you answered a question because it's based on the last census, not with the new development of the housing tract. And so how often with this type of districting that you redo it? Is it just with the census?
It is.
Okay.
So every 10 years, you will come back and you will reevaluate whether or not your areas are still in balance. That is something that's brought up frequently, the fact that there is a lot of new development that's expected, and over that 10-year period, there may be shifts in population. Again, this is a law that focuses on balancing population based on the census.
Every 10 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's done every 10 years. But you will have an opportunity, again, if that development comes to fruition, just the way that it's projected, then at that time, you'll rebalance accordingly.
Even if it's before a census?
That's correct.
Okay. Anyone else? Dr. Avi? Oh, yes, Ms. O'Kelly.
In our situation, we have two of us that live right down the street from each other. Obviously, we're going to be in the same area. The other person is up for re-election in 2022. I'm not up for re-election until 2024. Does that mean she simply cannot run in 2022? Because there's already an incumbent in that district?
I will defer to legal counsel on this, but generally, yes, that's what it means. And it means that you'll serve out your terms just as they are right now. And then when that seat comes up for election, and it sounds like in 2024, if that's indeed the case, then there's an opportunity to run then.
That is why I recommend our home school, our nearest school that we live by, be added to part of the district, part of the thinking, if possible.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just, before these gentlemen leave, I think it'd be good if there's anybody here from the community that'd like to give some input or maybe ask a couple questions.
Does anybody in leadership have questions, since they're here? Got a mic. Okay. Let's open it up to the public. That's what this community hearing is supposed to be about. If there's anyone here that has any input, please come to the mic.
Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
I like how you deferred to the attorney,
we
but
have
then you
none.
answered the question.
We don't have anybody. This will come up again at our next meeting that we address this at. I believe it's on the next board agenda as well. So if you have anything, we will be listening to the public. In the meantime, if you have input, please address it to the superintendent's office. We all serve at the pleasure of the public, of the voter. So right now, unless someone's got a question for the attorney, or Dr. Avila, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, then let's cut our losses and let go of the attorney. I don't want to give him easy money.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
gentlemen.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate all your help.
Okay. We are at C51. In the middle of the public hearing, we just heard from the demographer and offered input or from the public, requested it. Hearing none, board members, last chance for today. Other than that, we'll move to close the public hearing. Okay,
So
can I?
move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Time is 8:08. Other districts in the immediate area are also going through this. This can be one of the most important decisions. So I am pleading with the public, if you have something to say, now is the time to say it before the maps are drawn and the final decision is made. So please, send or come to the next meeting and give your input, if you have any. If we're doing fine, that's okay too. All right, board, we're on item D, consent calendar items.
Did we move to close public hearing?
Yes.
We did?
We just voted on it.
The time was 8:08 on that.
8:08, yeah.
Oh, that's right, okay.
It gets past me sometimes too. Just, things move pretty quick here sometimes. Okay, all items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the superintendent for individual action. Motion and a second on consent calendar items.
So
Move
moved.
to approve this consent calendar?
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any polls? Any questions? Okay, we will move forward.
That was a heck of a consent calendar, too.
Yeah, I know.
And there was some revisions done at the adoption of the agenda. and some of
Yes,
the
yes, it has.
polls.
Okay, so we are voting on the consent calendar as amended. Thank you, Vice President Montez. Okay, Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you, Board. Okay, we are moving. That would have been one long list.
I know.
Okay, we are on E, page 13, for those following. Okay, other comments. Public comments not on the agenda. At this time, any person wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes.
We do have some. We
Yes,
first have Grecia Leticia Tapia.
Welcome.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Grecia Tapia, officer
Yes.
for for Eisenhower High School. I've been working for the district for 23 years. And I had a pleasure, Ms. Walker, and all of you guys. Nice to see you guys. Anyway, the reason I'm here is to thank the hard workers for Rialto Unified School District. There's a lot of them working so hard that don't get noticed, but I want to take the time to say thank you for so many out there. They're so compassionate, so loving, so caring. They put extra hands, just putting out their hands just to help them out. That alone, they deserve an applause for that. because sometimes I even forget to tell them thank you. And also I would like to say for the humble hearts that they are. And they never ask for, to give them like a return, nothing back for return at all. They just do it on their own little hearts. I have my old-fashioned page here, so it tells you how old I am. I also would like to say thank you to Mr. Camacho. He's the principal from high school, from Eisenhower High School. In 2015, Mr. Camacho put a team together. It was called PBIS, it's Positive Behavior Intervention Support. I was given an opportunity to be part of the team. Ever since then, I've been doing girl circles, Spanish and English. I had some girls drawing some pictures one of the sessions. And one of the girls I drew the picture, she's happened to be here. She's one of the Milo girl, and I told her, is it okay if I show you a picture? And I didn't know she was gonna be here. And she drew a picture, and I asked one of my sessions of the girls, I asked them, what would you like to be, what goals do you like when you get a little older, and you're inside? So one of them said, don't be afraid to be yourself. And another one was saying, be respectful, support, kindness, to try to help others. And that's for all of us. I really believe it's for all of us to be able to be thankful and supportive with one another, because we tend to forget to do that. And also I remember Mr. Camacho saying, what I want to do is help every student that needs the help, because we tend to overlook at them. I also believe that 100% we all need that support. We can do things by giving thank one another, encouraging one another, lifting each other up, caring and supporting each other. I also would like to thank our lead officer, Jackson. He's a safety officer for Eisenhower High School. He's also an uplifting, encouraging, compassionate heart. Also for the officers that worked at Eisenhower, and many officers, Mr. Garcia as well, he stands here, that they're also, I'm just blessed just to have them as part of my team. So I also want to do a shout out to the Eisenhower staff, the hardworking people that they really are. And so one of the counselors that I will also say thank you to him for, because he also does boy circles, girl circles. And I think these parents are really appreciating them, because these students had changed their lives. And I seen that one individual from Myers, I almost started crying when I seen her talking. I go, oh, that's my Smith, you know. And that was a gift to me. Just to serve in 23 years there alone, that was just a touching to me. Yeah. I could even cry right now.
How much longer do you have? Do you have a lot or a little?
A lot of what?
Do you need a lot more time?
No, I just have one more minute. Ya
No.
merito acabo.
And you're thanking people, so that's a good.
Okay.
That's a good.
I'm talking about my kids. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Montes. I just want to ask ask ourselves, what can we do different to lift up people? What should we stand with? Should we stand with is right, no matter how difficult things are? Because sometimes it is hard, even though. And if you guys don't mind, I could read a Bible verse. It's a really quick one. It's not even more than a minute. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4-7. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not boast, it's not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. And I'm sure a lot of you guys heard this, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Carolyn Idy.
Good evening,
Welcome.
Distinguished board members, Dr. Avila, staff, students, and parents. I am the proud principal of JU Middle School, and I wanted to come this evening to all of us know that the last year and a half has been very difficult. There have been a lot of losses and a lot of challenges, personal challenges that all of us as individuals have experienced, but also as a learning community, as individual schools. And sometimes it's difficult when the winds are blowing to keep your head up. But I think of the oak trees. The oak trees grow long, deep roots that make them stronger, or a lump of coal. Pressure makes it into a diamond. And these things are very difficult to keep in mind when you are going through difficult times. And Jehu went through a very difficult time this year. And yet, in this time, looking forward to next year, or next week, it's a time of Thanksgiving, a good time to reflect on the strength, the community, the support and help that so many people give in very, very tangible ways. And we experience that as a school community. But I want to highlight that I've been in this district for more than 25 years. And in that time, I have seen that is true throughout those years. As a district, we've had our ups and downs. As a community, as a state, as a nation, we've had our ups and downs. But one thing that is true is that we stick together as a community. We lend that helping hand. We have people's back. And those are things that I am most grateful for. And I'm proud of the resiliency that we see on a daily basis. But I also want to mention some of the people that helped us through a very trying time in very, very tangible ways. I had a mentor who told me people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Caring is expressed in many, many ways. Sometimes it's giving somebody space. Sometimes it's lending a helping hand. And sometimes it's simply a question of, how are you? Or how are you doing? And through this last number of months, the challenges that we've experienced, the Rialto community and staff and students and parents, we've seen everybody jump in the most unusual ways. You know, I want to thank Dr. Avila for ensuring that there were people to assist us. He was the first call that I made when I learned of our colleague and friend's passing. The second call I made was to Bridget Ely, and she immediately marshaled her support staff, TBS team, psychologists to assist us. Other people that I'm grateful for are Beth Curtis, Angela Brantley, Karen Good and team, Kayla Galindo, Paulina Villalobos, Jennifer Carroll, Roxy Dominguez, Dr. Gibbs, Saida Joffrey, Shelley Gates, Sherry Garcia, REA, CSEA, instructional coaches from other sites, district coaches, principals, ed services for covering our staff, and a plethora of other students and staff and family members. And I know I'm running short on time, but even though I'm thanking people, I'm also telling you that we as a community and as a school have set our sights firmly on instructional achievement for all of our students and the social emotional learning of our staff and students. As a double gold PBIS site, we already had a Halloween dance that was outside in the quad, sold out. We've broken ground on 2 gardens, put in winter vegetables.
I'm going to have to interrupt you.
All right, and many more things. I invite all of you to join us for Coffee with the Principal and PK in the spring. Thank you.
I invite you to submit that letter.
Okay.
And I'd like to see, maybe we could start a thank you column online from staff, from students, from everyone, because
Special letters.
yeah, it would mean a lot to everyone. Thank you for
All right.
being the first.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tobin Brinker.
Welcome.
Tobin Brinker, a teacher at Frisbee Middle School, speaking on my own behalf. I'm here tonight to talk about literacy and equity. And first off, I want to say thank you to the superintendent and the school board for your vision and your commitment to literacy in our district. As you know, I'm very involved with the Inland Empire Children's Book Project. Books are very important to me. And as an example, I read all summer long, and when the school year starts in August, I bring all the books I read over the summer and I share them with my kids. And in January, I'll do the same thing with the books that I read over the Christmas. And so books are really important to me. The reason I'm here tonight is not to point fingers at anybody, but just to state a fact and then see if we can find a solution. The library at Frisbee Middle School is closed. It's been closed since the beginning of the school year. And this breaks my heart. I probably would not have come tonight except for two things that happened today. The first was, on my way to lunch, I'm walking by the library, and there's 3 young ladies standing in front of the library, and it's closed. It's been closed. They can't get in. And they asked me when would the library be opened, and I couldn't give them an answer. And that makes me sad. You know, these kids should have access to these books. And then secondly, I had a conversation later in the day with some of my colleagues, and they expressed deep frustration, anger, I'll call it. And I don't know if it's anger at the situation as much as it is just the frustration that we feel because this is such a tough teaching year. And I think you all know this. You've heard from people about what's going on and the shortages. And this is why I'm saying I'm not here to point fingers at anybody. I'm not here to say there's anything going on, except that the library's closed, and we all want it to be open. And so I thought, you know, I'm going to come here in the spirit of goodwill. I know our commitment to literacy. You know my commitment to literacy. Let's get the library open if we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brinker. Thank you for bringing to our attention. Dr. Avila, can you look into that, please?
Yes. We have Marlene Madrid.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
We have Mirna Ruiz. That's all we have.
Okay. Is Ms. Ruiz coming?
No, they said no.
Okay, all right. All right, we will continue. Okay, we are continuing with E2, comments from association, executive board members, Rialto Education Association. I see you over there. Welcome.
Okay, I am Maisha Calloway. I'm the president of REA. Good evening, esteemed school board. It's so good to see you guys. President
Likewise.
Martinez. Good evening, innovation team, and those who are viewing at home. I missed the last meeting, so I have to backtrack and tell you guys about the hijinks. I was a little under the weather last board meeting. I want to say that it was super awesome to be out there in the community. We gave out, I don't know how many thousands of pieces of candy and glow sticks. And I want to say thank you to the parents and the students and the REA members that were out there that night. The parents and the students were so grateful, so loving, gave us joy and good laughter all night long, so that was awesome. I also want to say thank you to the teachers that did assist with the trunk or treat at the different high schools. REA also donated candy for that. We hear it was a big success, so thank you for all those teachers that spent their time coming out that night. The other thing that I want to brag about today, I kind of snuck into the wing back there with the DSAC students, and I want to give a big shout out to all of the ASB coordinators. I want you guys to know, our ASB teachers, you guys are doing an awesome job with our young leaders. They were so attentive and so engaged in their meeting, and it just made my month, my day, my year, just to see them all back here and in action and ready to support and be the leaders and speak up for their high schools. They got their blazers today, and the look on their face was so awesome when they told them, you know, try it on real quick. They were ripping the plastic off like it was Christmas and tossing it on the floor, and they stood up so proud. So it really brought joy to my heart to see them. Also, I have to brag for 2 seconds. I got a chance to see students who I was with at Frisbee while they were on the campus, and I got to see 2 of my own students that are on DSAC. So that always makes me proud when you get to see them develop from young middle schoolers and then they move up to high school and they become awesome leaders. So I'm so grateful that we have them back, and thank you to the board, the innovation team, and everyone for getting our young leaders back here and in action. I'm just overjoyed about that. I also am super excited to hear that all the VAPA activities are back in action. I'm ready to see some plays this year, go to some musicals. So I just want to say thank you to our awesome VAPA teachers. I know it's been really hard for them and the students with all the restrictions. The past few months, things have changed and raised a little bit, so I'm hoping they stay safe. But I'm really excited that they're able to get back to what they do as well. Last thing is that I know we still have things to work on, and we're still working on the communication piece and everything within the district, but I really once again wanted to say thank you to all of our certificated staff on all the campuses. When I'm at the sites, everybody's working so hard. We appreciate all of them, and also I want to say thank you to the classified staff because they're out there still working hard as well. I just encourage everyone to stay positive, take care of each other, and rest your mind, body, and your soul while we are on vacation, because I will be doing the same thing. So thank you so much, and everyone enjoy your time off.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Okay. California School Employees Association. Okay, they're not here this week. Communication Workers of America. Welcome.
And good evening, everyone, and we hope you will accept our MOU, and we hope you'll have a wonderful break that's coming up, and have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You also have a good break. And okay, Rialto School Managers Association. Okay, also no input. Comments from student board member out tonight. Say a little prayer for him. He was a little under the weather, so yeah. Anyway, comments from the superintendent, Dr. Avila.
Thank you, President Martinez, and it has been quite busy since our last board meeting, so I'll quickly do a rundown of the many things that have happened since. Early November, I visited Curtis Elementary, where Rotary Club President Drew Heim delivered their annual dictionaries here to every third grader at the school and every third grader in the district. This year, Rotary donated 1,750 dictionaries to our third graders to get them started on really enriching their vocabulary. We also visited Cusera Middle School where Principal Straka held the grand opening for the esports lab. President Martinez, you were there with me, and we know the excitement that those kids express at the very touching of the devices that they were not able to use. And we do acknowledge that Rialto High School did begin the esports over a year ago. We'll be working with staff to make sure that their lab is up and running to the same specs as Cusera Middle School. Also want to thank the committee that put together Dia de los Muertos on November the 2nd. I know Clerk Lewis was there, Vice President Montes was there, and also took part in the traditional Aztec dance. So thank you so much. We had a lot of culture, a lot of excitement, a lot of family, a lot of community taking place there on November the 2nd. So thank you, committee, for putting such an amazing event together. Also, we did have a visit on November 9th from Congresswoman Norma Torres. She visited Kelly Elementary School. She wanted to see the amazing things that are happening in our garden and the environmental literacy. We did have a couple of teachers, Ms. Fan and Ms. Hernandez, whose classrooms attended the welcome. They performed for Congresswoman Torres and really showed her all the amazing learning that takes place both in the classroom and the connection that learning has outside and especially in the garden. So thank you to teachers and Principal Dr. Rollins for putting together an amazing welcome for Congresswoman Torres. We know that November is National Native American Heritage Month, and I was thrilled to attend yesterday a presentation by Eisenhower High School's Women's Studies class in honor of the month. The class highlighted Citlala Shah, a Native American activist, educator, writer, and musician. She led a lot of legislation to honor the rights or acknowledge the rights or establish rights for Native Americans as she lived in Washington. And the presentation was led by teachers Ophelia Fitzpatrick and Mrs. Griselda Montoya. Eisenhower students were amazing in their presentation. And you see some of the visuals displayed here to my right, to your left, in honor of Native American Month. You'll see, you may not be able to see, but there is a, what is that, Dr. Burciaga? A cloth?
That is a Navajo rug, a 100-year-old Navajo rug. Wow.
It's an original, so it's been lent to us, so we'll take good care of it. But again, it's really to honor National Native American Heritage Month. It's also National School Psychology Week. That was last week. And we want to really encourage and thank all of our psychologists to continue doing best practices and advocate for our kids' access to mental health and learning supports. And speaking of being grateful, we do have our new Keystone Cafe Pantry Project. This is an effort that has been put together by Ed Services and Nutrition Services. They have partnered to provide pantry goods and fresh produce to our students, their families, and the community. They have their first giveaway Friday, November the 19th from 4 to 6 at the Chavez Huerta Center for Education. So I do want to thank the staff that has put this together and will continue to serve the nutritional needs of our community. And as we know, November is the month to give thanks. So let's be grateful for all the things that we have. Let's pray for our families, our students, and each other to stay safe so that we can have wonderful times during the holiday break next week. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Avila. Excellent comments. Okay, comments from members of the Board of Education. Ms. O'Kelly.
Well, I was just going to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. By the way, does anybody know there are 4 cities named Turkey in the United States? There's Turkey in Arizona, there's Turkey in Texas, there's Turkey in North Carolina, and there's one other. I was just, I came across that and I said, that's kind of weird, but anyway, have a wonderful time, have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family and your friends, because that's what it's all about. I hope everybody has a great one. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Clerk Lewis.
Oh, I am just so blessed of hearing this attitude of gratitude. And our schools are still open, and just hearing the students talk about all the activities. And I would just love to hear from our little presidents at the elementary school. Do we have elementary school presidents and junior high? It's just great to see these leaders and talk about what's going on. And I truly enjoyed the Day of Remembrance. I did not know much about that holiday, of seeing the altars and the remembrance of their loved ones. And that's how you learn about the lifestyle, the past, the present. I enjoyed the friendship dance. I was trying to get my beat on to Vice President Montez. I like the drums, but I was watching and how they involved the children, and a lot of the children didn't know the meaning. And so that was an opportunity to learn, as a community. They walked. It was hard to find a parking space, or it was just talking. It's like, oh, we have to get a bigger space. And it was just amazing. I like to see all the celebration. I'm waiting for the Lunar New Year. I've never experienced that. So I don't have to go to Pasadena and somewhere else. I can hear it all and learn from our own cultures within our community. So I'm just grateful that our minds are open to learning and sharing.
Excellent. Love those comments.
Yeah.
Vice President Montes.
Thank you, Board President, Mr. Martinez. I just also would like to thank the DSAC students who came to speak, made their presentations. You know, if I haven't said it before, I just think the program is awesome. I want to thank Saida, who had been working with this program for so long, and all of the hard work that she put into it. I want to thank our superintendent for supporting it, all of the leadership team for supporting this program. It's probably one of the best leadership programs that we have in our district. And
Absolutely.
and I like the idea of expanding it to the elementary schools, even if possible someday.
We still have it at the middle school, don't we? Okay.
And I want to also I like the slogan that they used, the pandemic that didn't define us. But I also want to congratulate one of the speakers mentioned at Rialto High School. 2 of their sports teams made it to the CIFs, so we'll be cheering for them. Hopefully they'll bring home the championships. I also want to thank Nutrition Services. I run into them everywhere. I think, you know, it's hard for a lot of us not to run into them because they're literally everywhere. And I just found out that as recent as the end of last month, they were able to implement or help facilitate implementing breakfast in the classroom for all 19 elementary schools as of the end of last month. Yeah, they deserve a round of applause for that. They're also at 2 high schools. And hopefully by next year, the goal is for them to also start breakfast in the classroom at the remaining high schools and all of the middle schools. So hopefully we'll have all of the schools in the district participating with breakfast in the class. My son goes to Morgan, and they just recently had breakfast in the class implemented not too long ago. And one of the things that I've, by asking people at the school, is more students now are eating breakfast, getting breakfast now than before, because of that opportunity that the district is providing breakfast for them in the classroom. It doesn't take up a whole lot of class time. They don't, a lot of them don't pass that opportunity to eat breakfast that they wouldn't normally get. So I'm very, very happy about that and very grateful to our district and everybody who's making that happen. Kudos to Nutrition Services. I want to thank Mrs. Edie, Principal Edie, for coming here tonight and sharing her words about the recent hardships that their school suffered personally. With the loss, of course, of one of their counselors, beloved counselors. I want to just thank her for coming here, thanking everybody who was there for them, who helped them through that difficult time, who continues to help them through this difficult time. I want to also thank Mrs. Tapia for coming here tonight, Officer Tapia, for thanking all of the hardworking employees. And I know Board President can be a stiffler sometimes with the time, but thank you for allowing them to go over, because of course, you know, it's always good when we get thanks and praise for any of the employees in the district. As we know, that hasn't always been the case, but I want to thank them. I want to also just thank REA for participating in the Rialto City Halloween Hijinks. And all of the people who participate in that. For the people who don't know, the Rialto City every year hosts a Halloween Hijinks. It's a safe opportunity to take your family, to take your children trick-or-treating. it's under the protection of the local Rialto Police Department. The firefighters are there. A lot of city staff are there. A lot of district or school district organizations participate. A lot of local small businesses participate, and I think it's just a really nice and safe way for families to go trick or treating. And the kids love it. They have all kinds of different activities for them. They get a bunch of candy. So I highly recommend for anyone who would like to check it out next year to attend the Halloween hijinks during Halloween. And then last but not least, I want to thank also the committee for the Dia de los Muertos celebration. I know it was kind of last minute. I know that there was some doubt at the beginning of whether it was going to happen or not, and luckily the leadership at the district and others were able to make that celebration happen on a short notice, but it had a really good turnout. Of course, the concerns were the safety concerns regarding COVID and whatnot, but I think things were done as safe as possible. People were using masks and whatnot, and it was just a really beautiful event, and it was an honor for me to participate in the celebration. And last but not least, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but at the same time, this is Native American Heritage Month, and let's not forget the historical background regarding Thanksgiving. But with that said, I still believe in gathering with family, enjoying them, having a good time, enjoying a good dinner. But I believe history is just as important, and I encourage everyone to learn the true history of Thanksgiving and at least honor the Native Americans who it affected in that way. But with that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank
And
you.
President Martinez,
Yes.
before you begin your comments, happy birthday. This week,
Thank you.
he's celebrating a big
It'll
birthday.
be Friday. Yeah. Another year old. For those old enough to remember Farmer John, there was a, Sheriff John, and it was, the birthday song that he sung, that rhyme, that meter, I came up with my own words. Put another wrinkle in your birthday suit, your birthday suit. That's where I'm at. Okay, and yes, me and my sick monkey humor. That's what my best friend and I call our humor. Not everyone understands it or appreciates it, but I try. I am grateful for the two ladies that came up, for everyone who's come up and addressed others, thanking them or recognizing them. Each of you don't know it, but I appreciate each of you individually. The board members, just, you all mean a lot to me, and I pray for the city, the district. I welcome anyone who wishes to join me. I do it morning and evening whenever it comes to mind. For safety and for wisdom, how to lead, and God is the center of wisdom. He is the source. So if you ever wonder and you ever need wisdom, ask. That's all you have to do. Just listen. It may not be what you want at the moment, believe me. But he's on a long-term plan, believe me. I'm concerned, but I don't want to overshadow. That concern is minimized by the job each staff member is doing. I know it's been very difficult at best, and that's putting it mildly. It doesn't get any better for this board member to see a high-functioning staff and board and community. I'm grateful for our city leaders. I'm grateful for everything that everyone and everything that is said from the podium, because we represent the voter. And I learned a long time ago, if we don't hear anything negative, we must be doing okay. Because they'll tell us when we're not meeting expectations. So right now, thank you, Diane and Fiscal Services. Thank you for Nutrition Services. Thank you for all admin. I could go on, and I really should, but in keeping with my request to start the thank you page, our network services people, just awesome job. Every school site, awesome job. I was looking at great schools. I woke up at 2 this morning, and you know, I'd already had 4 hours sleep, so it's time to wake up. I was looking at great schools. We are improving. As my friend Mr. Montez mentioned, it's not fast enough, and it's not what I want, but we are improving, and education moves slowly. So let's move on and keep up the good work, everyone and each of you. Okay, let's see. Presentations, high school.
We already did it.
Yep, good. We do need to move DSAC up where they used to be. It's all other longer presentations that need to be kept in this area. California Voting Rights Act, presentation of proposed, we move that up too.
We bounced around tonight.
Yeah.
On discussion action.
It's okay.
You know, that's okay. You're right. Some of the best meetings are just those that we bounce around. Okay, first interim financial report. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Approve the fiscal year 2021-2022 first interim financial report. Yeah, more caffeine, please. Financial report as presented. Questions, comments, board?
Another positive certification, so
Yes.
it's good.
And please.
The board has the privilege of reviewing this nice
Binder.
thick
Binder.
interim report. But if fiscal service doesn't mind, could we have just a small paragraph or a small summary so the community knows where we stand currently? Or from, I don't know if you have a microphone there? Could we get just like a little update on, in a nutshell, for the community of what exactly?
The summary.
Is that okay?
Well, it
Absolutely.
basically says it's a positive certification.
Well, I mean,
Means we're gonna
aside
be
from
good
that.
for the next 2 years.
For the public, please tell us what a positive, qualified, and negative certification is, and what certification we've got. Well done. And really just that page. And if you need it, here.
I've got it, thank you. So good evening, board. My name is Diane Romo. I'm the lead business services agent. The first interim report is the first marker in the school year that gives our financial health to both our community and the state. And so for the first interim report, we have a positive qualification, which means that we will be able to meet our reserves for the current year and the first 2 upcoming years. The other two options that we have to file is negative, which means that we will not be able to meet our reserves in the third year, or, I'm sorry, that's a qualified, and negative would be if we do not meet reserves in year 2 and year 3. So we are very fortunate that we are positive and that we are currently financially healthy.
And what is the reserve amount?
We are required to keep 3% of our reserves, which for this year is around $12 million.
Other questions, board?
3% of the operational cost of the district,
Correct,
correct?
of operating expenditures.
Thank you.
And I can never say it enough. Thank you, Diane.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank your department as well. Okay. For the public, in case you don't see staff a lot, but she's the one who minds our checkbook, and greatly appreciate it. I won't tell you about my checkbook. It's all good, but she balances to the penny. I balance to the $100.
And the public can get a copy if they
Yes.
request one.
And President Martinez, if I may.
Yes, please.
Understanding the current situation that public schools are under, still with some restrictions and still feeling the impact of COVID, attendance rates have decreased. And so we know that unless something changes at the state level, right now the state is considering legislation to move from ADA funding to enrollment-based funding.
Correct.
Because otherwise, districts across the state are going to take huge financial hits because of the decrease in attendance this particular school year.
Yes. So times may get tougher, but so far, we're good.
And know that staff will be looking at areas where we can save for future years. I know we're positive for the next 2 years, but unless something changes at the state level, we'll have to make some adjustments so that in years, 4 and 5, we'll be solvent.
Mhm. And what's different with school management is we do have to meet, next year it'll be year 1, 2, and 3 again. And it's just a rolling situation. But I'm very happy to say that not through my doing or the board's doing really, other than wise management, it's up to the financial people to keep us reporting positive, and we have been that way for over a decade. I love it. Okay, that's about as manic as I get tonight. Okay, let's see. We still need to vote to accept the financial report. Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay, G2, award bid number 21-22-3, district-wide marquee projects to Tri-Core Enterprises, doing business as Quill School Signs for the district-wide marquee projects. Motion and a second.
Move to approve?
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. And this is to award bid number 21-22-03 for the district-wide marquee projects to Tri-Core Enterprises, Inc., doing business as Quill School Signs for a total cost not to exceed $719,000, which includes a $50,000 allowance for unseen conditions, at a cost not to exceed $719,000 and to be paid from Fund 21, General Obligation Bond. Okay, questions or comments? Seeing none, vote Ms. O'Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Lewis.
Aye.
Vice President Montez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. G3, agreement with Miller Architecture to provide architectural services for 2 new portable classroom buildings at Myler High School. Motion and a second, please.
So moved?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And this is to approve an agreement with Miller Architecture to provide architectural services for 2 new portable classroom buildings at Myler High School, effective November 18th through June 30th, at a cost not to exceed $59,748 and to be paid from Fund 25, Capital Facilities Fund. Okay, questions or comments, board?
Question. So these new classroom are not replacement, correct? Or these are additional? Will bathroom be included in these additional?
One restroom.
One, and is that gonna be like a handicap accessible one?
It has to meet all the codes, yes. But Angie here can give us a little bit more detail.
Please. One of the
Hi.
staff I'm thankful for.
Hello.
Please,
Good
welcome.
evening. I'm Angie Lopez, Agent of Facilities Planning. I'm sorry, I was running down the hall, so I didn't hear the question.
Well, these are new.
Yes.
So I'm just really of the mindset when we get new construction that we have a shortage of restrooms, and especially at this site, more of the handicap, which needs to be a little bit more equipped. So is that taken into consideration?
Yes, whenever we do new construction, we have to meet the ADA,
Mhm.
and that includes restrooms. One of these portables is going to be for special education, so it will have a restroom within the classroom.
Great. And when you discuss with them, I know the special needs have different requirement outside, that's where a lot of the incidents are occurring during changing. Could we just make sure we highlight some of the special needs?
Yes,
To assist with the teachers?
Yes, definitely. We have to do that. We
Great.
have to meet that. So yes, we
Thank
will, special ed will be involved in the portion of the project.
Thank you.
They don't let us get by or forget any of
Oh,
that. They're mandated anymore.
Yep.
Good thing.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if it's not really brought up.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, Ms. O'Kelly, how do you
Aye.
vote? Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye, and myself, aye. G4, agreement with Franklin Covey, Leader in Me. I believe that got pulled.
It was not pulled, I think the cost was adjusted.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and that is specifically correction to discussion action item G4, which we are on, page 153. Agreement with Franklin Covey, Leader in Me. The fiscal impact will be revised as follows, not to exceed $44,388.48 paid from the general fund. Questions or comments?
It's an outstanding program, so.
I was about to
I
say
am
that
all for
myself.
it.
Likewise.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second,
Thank you. And this is to approve an agreement with Franklin Covey to provide year 1 implementation of the Leader in Me program, a social emotional learning CEL curriculum that focuses on the personal and interpersonal leadership capacity of students at J.P. Kelly Elementary School, effective November 18th, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, at a cost not to exceed $41,332. Yeah, that cost changed to not to
44.
not to exceed $44,388.48, and to be paid from the general fund. Questions or comments, board? Vote, Ms. O'Kelly.
aye.
Clerk Lewis.
Aye.
Vice President Montez.
Aye.
And aye for myself. G5, approve the purchase of replacement of student devices using California participating addendum number 7-15-70-34-3. Awarded to Dell Marketing Limited Partnership. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Question on this program, is this the rolling 3- and 4-year replacement?
Yes.
Okay. There was a $10,000 line item for it out of the budget. Is this part of that? Okay, so it's over and above. I'll touch base. I like the over and above part. We need to continue our technology move. Okay, and this is to approve the purchase of replacement student devices using California participating addendum at a cost not to exceed $926,384.92, and to be paid from the general fund. Questions or comments? Good stuff. Let's keep it up. Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you, staff, and thank you, board, for that one. Agreement with Z Space. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This is to approve a purchase of 20 additional Z Space machines and renew software for all CTE patient care students, grades 9th through 12th, at a cost not to exceed $151,961, and to be paid from the general fund Career Technical Education Incentive Grant. Questions or comments?
Question?
Yes.
What's the enrollment into that particular module or?
Do we have that? Right.
Welcome.
Hi, good evening. My name is Juanita Chan. I'm the agent for science and career programs. So I was also running down the hallway. I think I heard Clerk Lewis ask about the enrollment for the career technical education patient care pathways. All 3 patient care pathways are working at full capacity. So the enrollment is around 180 for each program.
For each patient
Care pathway, yeah. Yes.
And if I read this correctly, Z-Space provides actual virtual instruction and teaching
So they
in the patient care?
Correct. So it's an augmented and virtual reality system. So that would be both the hardware and the software. And basically, it's a computer that has glasses and a pen-based stylus, so that students, when they're looking at it, it doesn't just look like it's on a screen, but rather that it's a 3-dimensional model, and they can run simulations through that. So they can do, for example, they can observe a heart attack and pull the heart kind of out of the screen, look at all the different chambers, and then look at the echocardiogram to see like how the echocardiogram, how the little, the ticks in the echocardiogram correspond to what's physically happening to the heart. And there's a plethora of other activities that they can do with that as well. So we're using it both for patient care pathway, as well as they have a vivid construction as well that would allow students to tick lines and do like virtual construction of rooms and buildings that would be disallowed based off of time constraints and space constraints that the school has.
It sounds very cool.
Yeah. I would really
like to see it
someday.
Yes, definitely. You should come out and see it once they're installed.
And we have to rebrand this as healthcare. I mean,
yeah. So
let's get on board.
Right. So each one of the high schools do have their own unique branding, and they have unique logos. So if you look at the Carter High School ones, they have health occupations. It looks like health occupations. Their logo looks like a lion that has the stethoscope around and the hat that the surgical cap. The patient care title goes along with the pathway language from the CDE distributes a document, and that document explicitly says what the titles of the pathways are. So each high school can brand their programs as they would like, but when we talk about them as a whole unit for the district, we usually go back to the CDE language, which is patient care. But we have heard that definitely. We've talked about the things that resonate more with students. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Public, this is one of the staff, our unsung, unseen heroes, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, board. Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Vice President.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Let's making a note of how many enrolled. Okay, G7, adopt resolution number 212220, authorizing purchase of an automotive training system for the Career Technical Education Program. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This is to adopt resolution number 212220, authorizing the purchase of an automotive training system for the Career Technical Education, or CTE, program at a cost not to exceed $355,900 and to be paid from the Career Technical Education Incentive Grant. A lot of CTE. Try and say it fast all at once. Here
And
we
now,
go.
is this another virtual type program?
It is not. So this one is actually really exciting. So we at Rialto High School, they're the only school that has an auto bay. That automotive bay currently works off of combustion engines, just like most school programs. However, there is a new piece of an executive order basically that says by 2035, all new vehicles in the state of California will be electric motors and no longer combustion engines. So what this would allow us to do is it would allow us to retrofit that bay with all of the technology that it would need in order to prepare students for that electric motor transition. And it's the same manufacturer that does work with Mercedes and Tesla and Volkswagen, Audi, Toyota, so top of the line stuff.
Awesome.
Well, I'm glad you stayed by, because that was the question.
And it's going to happen way before 2035, so it's a good thing.
Yes.
Toyota, by the way, dropped the electric part and is going to hydrogen.
That's awesome.
Yes, yes.
Then the exhaust will be water vapor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want a virtual mask.
We'll work on that next.
Yeah, if you run across that, I'd be interested. Okay. Other questions or comments, board? Okay, Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
And I myself.
Oh, how many students you have in this one? Just while you're up here.
Yeah, so in this program, it's running at about 96 right now, but we're also trying to add a component that's in partnership with Valley Community College so that students can receive their green vehicle technology certification.
Okay.
And they use the same hardware and software at Valley.
Okay.
Okay, great.
The
Thank you so much.
The patient care one, do they get something that lets them go further in that field, or?
Yeah, so so you approved previously in the same board agenda the precision exams pieces, and so the precision exams pieces allow for that. There are some additional state certifications that are required for nurses and medical assistants, but yeah, we're definitely working on ensuring that each one of our programs has a certification. In fact, it's already aligned. They all have at least one certification for each one of their classes, their concentrator class and their capstone class. The piece with the patient care piece is that there are some additional components for like state level kind of certifications as well.
So in essence, if they take these courses and they graduate high school, they can go out and get a job of some kind in that area.
That's where we're headed. That's where we're working on to ensure that that's actually true.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to retrofit to make sure all of our stuff actually lines up with what the industries are expecting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
I'll go electric when I pay $200 a month for a new electric car. Till then, I'll drive my gas guzzler. Okay. G8, memorandum of understanding between Rialto Unified School District. We just voted on the other. Were you going to say something, Ms. O'Kelly?
No, but we were on this one, weren't we? I don't know.
Yeah, we voted on the electric
Yes,
car.
we're on G8 now.
Right, isn't it time to vote?
You have to make a motion.
Okay.
So moved.
So, second.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, memorandum of understanding between Rialto Unified School District and Communication Workers of America, Local 9588. We did have a motion and a second, so this is to ratify the memorandum of understanding between the Rialto Unified School District and Communication Workers of America, CWA Local 9588, who came to speak on it earlier and asked us to ratify.
Was that
Questions
Heather?
or comments?
No.
Okay. Vote Ms. O'Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Lewis.
Aye.
Vice President Montez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Gladly, and thank you, Communication Workers of America.
Thank you, Heather.
Yes. G9, certificated hourly salary increase. Motion a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This is to approve an increase to the certificated hourly daily pay schedule, excuse me, effective November 20th, 2021, at a cost not to exceed $141,601, and to be paid from the General, Adult, and Child Development Funds. Questions or comments, Board? Hearing none, Ms. O'Kelly, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Lewis?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It's good to be able to help our staff out when we can. G10, administrative hearing, motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Case numbers 21-22-18 and 21-22-13. Really can't discuss it, but vote by board members. Ms. O'Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Lewis.
Aye.
Vice President Montez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Stipulated expulsion, motion and a second,
So
please.
moved.
Second.
Thank you. Case numbers 21-22-19, excuse me, and 21-22-16, 21-22-15. Okay, vote Ms. O'Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Lewis.
Aye.
Vice President Montez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Let me read this, then we can all poke each other in the eye. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Rialto Unified School District will be held on December 15th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the John R. Casalunas Education Center, 182 East Walnut Avenue, Rialto, California. Materials distributed or presented to the Board of Education at the board meeting are available upon request from the Superintendent's office. Please remember to give us input on the trustee map areas.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, thank you. Vote by board members all at once.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? We're good. Meeting over at 9:14. Thank you, board. Great meeting.